Hey everyone, today is Saturday, September 11th. The time is 2:06 p.m. and I am here at the Water's Edge Promenade in downtown Toronto. And it is located just next to Sugar Beach here. And there's a lookout towards the islands. And this is, of course, Lake Ontario. And there's a look to the east. And the temperature right now is around 24 degrees Celsius. And for this one, I'll be heading north from Sugar Beach here up to Dundas Square. And this here is a man-made beach, although you probably could have guessed that. And it's been here since 2010. And it gets its name from the Redpath Sugar Refinery, which is just over there. And there's a look north. You used to get a rather nice view of the skyline from here, but these newer towers going up have blocked that.
That doesn't stop the show.
And the Redpath Sugar Refinery there opened up in 1958. There's also a museum as part of the complex. I think that's been there since '79. And it's one of the last remaining remnants of the industrial era down here on the downtown waterfront. This would be considered the east side. And that building straight ahead is part of Chorus Entertainment. It's a media conglomerate. And you can see the studio for Edge 102. That's an alternative music station. And that used to be located up on Yonge Street in the Eaton Center. And just further to the east of here, as part of this complex, is a campus for George Brown College. And the route I'll be taking is pretty much the one that Google Maps would suggest if you typed in Sugar Beach to Dundas Square. Although maybe instead of Victoria Street, I'll take Yonge. That would just be north of Adelaide. And as I was making my way over here, I was recording a members video for Patreon and channel members, and I ran into the Ken Continuum. He was just waiting for an Uber with Megan, his girlfriend, in front of Union Station. And maybe I'll put a highlight of that on my Johnny Stumbles channel, in addition to the members video, which will be made available to everyone, even if you're not a member after 30 days. I just kind of put a bit of an exclusivity window on those. And there is the Artscape Daniels launch pad. And this here is the Martin Goodman multi-use recreation trail. And that launch pad there is a creative hub that is run by Artscape. They're a non-profit. And that's a space to help emerging and established artists and designers and other creative people of that sort. But for a lot of people, especially those that grew up in Toronto, It was formerly where a couple of very large clubs were. The club in question was known as the Government. And it was also previously known as RPM. And there was another performance venue that was part of that complex. I think that one was called the Warehouse, and it later became the Cool House. But that ceased to operate in 2015, and it was torn down and turned into this development, which also houses part of George Brown College. And this Loblaws has been here for quite a while. In fact, given all the development in this area, you'd almost think that its days might be numbered. Might make more sense for it to be sort of in the lower levels of a larger condo development, especially given all the buildings that have flung up in this area. There's a neat look at the skyline. And the members walk that I recorded over here was using a different camera lens. Let's see if I have that handy. I was using a wide angle attachment for the Pocket 2, which is the camera I use. It seems to be buried in one of my short pockets. There it is. I'd never used that to record a walking video. I bought it for cycling and e-scooter videos. As I've switched from using the GoPro to the Pocket 2 for those ones, I thought I'd try it out on a member's video. And there is the Gardner Expressway. And the city's currently in the process of dismantling the eastern end of the expressway. So the on and off ramps at Logan Avenue are being removed. And Lakeshore, which is the road here, will be expanded to accommodate the extra traffic. And I think a park will be installed as well. And this part of Jarvis here is known as Lower Jarvis. I believe it just becomes Jarvis north of Front Street. And there's a closed on-ramp to the Gardner. It was originally going to extend east all the way to Scarborough, I think. So we're really just kind of tearing down a seldom used stub of the Gardner. And the city has sort of been battling this highway for as long as I can remember. It's quite costly to keep in a safe condition. And at one point there were plans to bury it into a tunnel. It's also been floated to just completely dismantle it and let Lakeshore absorb the extra traffic. And it's been proven before that when highways like this have been removed, there hasn't been too much disturbance in other cities, especially around Cheonggyecheon River and Seoul. That used to have a large highway running along it. I didn't think there'd be so many people down here. And just off in that direction is the Distillery District. Looks like the light's about to change. There we go. this would be the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Orgo Books. I've never heard of that place. The next major street to the north of here will be the Esplanade. And that's where we'll find the St. Lawrence Market, along with the North Market, which is currently operating out of a tent on the south side of the St. Lawrence Market. And they're redeveloping the North Market, which is just on the north side of Front Street. There's a look into it. I don't know if this is an official entrance or not, but these people are going for it.
Maybe just
I know on Sundays, this northern market here is home to an antiques market. And this is the Esplanade. I'll look to the west. And here's the St. Lawrence Market. And that dates back to 1850. I think there's over 120 vendors in there. And you'll get things like meat and produce and dairy, and a lot of artisanal kind of products. And this would be Front Street East coming up. And it looks like they're making good progress on the northern market here. I have not seen the structure start to rise yet. There's a look east along Front. Just waiting for the light to change here. Hello, here's a good chance to cross. And rather than take Jarvis here and walk alongside some construction hoarding, there's a little park I could take right here that just cuts up alongside the Imagine Cinemas. already see the roof starting to take shape. I think the other side is going to look just like this one. All right, I'll head up through this park to St. James Park. Or I guess the park itself is kind of closed off just on the right here. I remember coming here with sandwiches I grabbed at the St. Lawrence Market and having lunch when I worked in the financial district. And it's great to see this place open again. They've got the most comfortable chairs I've ever been or experienced at a movie theater. I've ever been. It's a weird way to put that. This building here on the right is the St. Lawrence Hall, and that dates back to 1850. And there's some retail and office spaces in there, including this restaurant, but it's also an event hall. Here's King Street. And there's St. James Park. I think I'll cut through the park here and take this up to Adelaide. There's a look at the somewhat iconic St. James Cathedral.
There's also a lot of water.
And that is where Church Street gets its name. Although some people think that because Church is lined with churches as you head north. It's not the original St. James Cathedral. This whole area burnt down in a great fire in the 1800s. This used to be where downtown was, or the financial district would have been located, which is now just over there. And here is Adelaide. And that glass tower right there is Spire. Robert Gourlay banished from Upper Canada in 1819 on false charges of sedation. And this here is Church. I'll just stick to the south side here. here's Tironi. I know they have a Midtown location. That's an Italian restaurant. There's a rather exclusive, or at least exclusive looking Japanese restaurant. That's Nami. I have never been. And we're at the north end of a very underrated and overlooked Toronto street. There's a few architectural gems on this street. And this connects Adelaide to King. That's the King Edward Hotel. Straight ahead there at the end of the street. And it's interesting to see how what used to be large office complexes are now getting dwarfed by residential condos once you leave the financial district. And this here is Victoria Street. I did a walk down here not too long ago. Okay, I think I'll take this north for a block up to Richmond, and I'll take that over to Yonge. Keeping in line with the zigzagging theme of this one. And up ahead in Victoria is St. Michael's Hospital. I'm thinking I'll probably switch to that wide-angle lens for these walks, providing the camera wasn't overwhelmed by the added weight. I've seen some videos where the camera is kind of shaking a bit. That was on an earlier firmware. I'm assuming that's been fixed by now. I'm already thinking of just getting home and seeing how that walk I recorded right before this one turned out. Typical me, my mind is always somewhere else. All right, and here is Richmond Street. I'll take this over to Yonge and then go north for a few blocks up to Dundas Square.
Not recent.
Which, after going back to Times Square, it's certainly not something you could really compare to it. They're completely different. A lot of people sort of say it's a knockoff Times Square. I guess in terms of the gaudiness of it, all the digital billboards, it is in that sense, but really it's just a block that's kind of a concrete park that's semi-private. Whereas Times Square is much, much bigger and seems to have a lot more going on. But here we go, the famous Yonge Street. And this is north up the east side. There's a look at Saks. And this here is Queen Street. And the streetcars currently aren't running on Queen Street. There's some water main and other construction work going on. I just got a phone call, but it was spam. That's why I pulled off to the side there. I don't know why I answered that.
And then he'd look at me and he'd go.
And that is, of course, the Eaton Center. But the guy was saying hello to me. Right there on that side of Yonge. And there's where Edge 102 used to be. And that was a Starbucks. Edge 102 is the radio station in that Chorus Entertainment building where I started. And here is Shooter Street. And look at that motorcycle. It's not my thing, but I admit that is pretty badass looking.
It's just back to school. I'm gonna stop being a kid of it.
Nice.
Aside from that,
They always talk about it.
And if it weren't for the masks, you really wouldn't know there's this whole virus situation still lingering. And the southwest corner in front of the main Eaton Center entrance there is quite crowded as usual. And here is Dundas Square. There's some photo shoots going on.
Like I didn't get any further.
There's a random table in the middle. Looks like they might be setting up for a film shoot later. That's not too uncommon in this part. It looks like the police are getting involved in something over on the other side. All right, so as promised, here we are. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. Be sure to head over to the Johnny Stumbles channel and subscribe there. And you'll find member videos released after 30 days. And I also do Sunday night live streams from home there. And otherwise, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.